This pigeon is offending me. He and his family live in my house, in the corners of the walls, and I am against him being there. What can I do to get rid of the pigeons pooping all over my patio? So before I left the United States to come here to Caccamo, Sicily to pursue my dual citizenship, my husband gave me the most amazing gift. It was not chocolate, it was not roses, it was not candy, because why would you do that when you are going 5,000 miles away? He gave me this book. This is my personal genealogy book. Everything that my family currently knows about my family tree is in this hardbound book. And let me tell you, I've been using it full time since I got here. There are a lot of questions that we have had in our family, in our Italian American side of the family, because there has been a lot of missing holes. Little backstory here. Unlike my husband's family, who was of German, Swiss, and French origin, those folks could read and write a little faster than the Sicilians did. There just wasn't the public education system that we now know today. What that meant is you had a lot of people from the more socioeconomic lower ends that could not read and write. All of the documentation really went into the church baptismal records and marriage records, and the life and death of a person in the civil records. I'm here right in the town where all the originals are. So I am excited to take this home and to have a better understanding of my own identity as an Italian American, but also to better understand for future generations where we come from, why, and most of all, how. So my friend / neighbor, Rosanna, got me connected with the oracle of the town, Signore Felipo Caccamo. He is the guru of genealogy of this town. He has actual access to the catacombs, to the sacristy, to the civil service records, and this man knows it all. If it exists, Signore Felipo is the guy to help. It was arranged for me to meet with Signore Felipo, and I kind of had this vision about how this was going to go down. I expected an old, fragile man who was retired. They told me he was older, and I was expecting him to come in and escort me to this conference room and give me a cup of cappuccino or a little espresso. Calm, older, filled with knowledge. Guys, we were in the middle of the hallway of the city hall at the beginning of the day. People are coming in, coming out. Everything is made of cement and tile. So the sounds are bouncing off the walls. For me, I can't focus on all that. The size of the table in the middle of the hallway is about the size of a pub table, okay? And this guy is whipping out books as early as 1820s. The books are not laminated. The books are not microfilmed. The books haven't been computerized to my knowledge. And he is picking them up just like it was yesterday's paper. Opening them up. The guy is talking a mile a minute. I am trying to have my cousin Harry on the phone, on video, 3:30 in the morning his time, 9:30 in the morning my time. The poor guy is bleary-eyed, but he's our genealogist, so he's got all his charts out. Now I'm trying to do Google Translate at the same time. Plus I'm trying to take pictures and video. Guys, it was so much. It was so much. And really the hardest part for me is that Signore Felipo has more energy than I do. And if you're not keeping up with him, he just keeps on going. I did find out a few nuggets. The first nugget I found out is that one of my ancestors did not immigrate to the United States. His name is Matteo Sanfratello. He was born here in Caccamo. He went to New York. He decided New York wasn't for him, and he returned back here to Caccamo and proceeded to have what we thought was 8 children. We thought he had 7 girls and 1 boy. 2 of them are named Maria, and one of the Marias died very young, and they named the second Maria after the first who had passed away. So I'm in here with Signore Felipo in the loudest place ever, and he says, no, there were 9 children. And now keep in mind, guys, we're going back to like early 1900s. And he said, there's a 9th child, and her name is Carmela Sanfratello. He started laughing. And I was like, what is happening here? And then Rosanna, who was with me, came over and she starts laughing. And she says to me, would you like to visit her? And I'm looking at her stuff. Her birth certificate says 1922. And I was like, that makes her 102 years old. I'm sure she's not living here in a super mountainous town in the middle of nowhere in Sicily. Guess who I'm going to go visit next week? Carmela Sanfratello. I'm going to meet my cousin. And I'm so excited, you guys, because it is one thing to meet distant cousins and relatives, but it's another thing to have a super close relative. I'm really excited about this new door opening. My family in the States had no idea that this woman even existed. So super excited about that development. So I also found out some really sad information. As somebody who really enjoys genealogy, this was something that was just very disappointing for me. My great-great-grandfather, Girolamo Anselmo, we had very little information on this guy. One of the things that the family in the States has always been curious is why on his birth record it says the word ignato. That means essentially that as a child, the child was highly likely to have been either abandoned or that the family was unable to financially pay what was needed to keep the child alive. Here in Sicily, as well as many other places in the world, the Catholic Church had something called a Routa. And what it was similar to a wagon wheel placed on the side. They created a hole to the outside wall of the nunnery or the church or the orphanage or the hospital. And this wall had a hole. And the wagon wheel was a place where a child could be placed on the outside of the wheel, and the nuns would turn it. And then they would bring the child into the church without seeing the parents on the outside and take the child and take care of the child and provide the child a place to survive. I found out that my family tree on that side will end with Girolamo Anselmo because there is no record this side of heaven, I was told, that would give any information on his real parents, his biological parents. So the social construct of people who come from the lower classes here in Sicily also followed my great-great-grandfather because the woman that he married, Maria Leto's father, was also abandoned. So that might tell us something about where this family was at in the social strata of this town. 2 generations were literally abandoned, and what that says about that line as well. I think I really feel a sense of real sadness. I don't know if it's grieving, I wouldn't go that far, but there is a sadness and a depth to that sadness of what that experience must have been like to be abandoned, but perhaps to even know your family and not be able to communicate as child and parents. And so, unfortunately, at least with that line of my family, that story does stop at that generation. However, there are plenty more ancestors and cousins who are here right in Caccamo. I'm going to be meeting with some of them this week, and I'm just super excited about this journey. This has been, on a daily basis, an experience that is just amazing. Gotta go to Mass. I hear the church bells. Bye.